If your branding is off, it's like showing up for a game you were never meant to play. It's time to get it fixed and get on the right track. Welcome to the Automation Mastery Podcast. This is your host, Justin Morgan of automationmastery.net, here to help you automate your business, master your destiny, and maximize your impact. Let's get to the episode. Let's chat. What's up, Automation Nation? As usual, it's your host, Justin Morgan. I'm excited. I've been getting back to this thing here where we're bringing on people, like actual people. You don't just get to listen to me blabber on for minutes and minutes, hours on hours. Of course, never hours on hours. But I'm excited because this week we've really been focusing on you, your brands, your ideas, just kind of getting things started. I know one of the big things is folks always want to hop into what's the best tool, tech things, software, CRM, autoresponder, all that, and they go out and do all the work of setting up a landing page, a sales page. They go out and get their products done, but they never take the time to do a lot of that upfront prep, a lot of that set stuff that you need to do before you go out and do all that hard work and then find out it doesn't work, right? Mm-hmm. And so, again, this week we've been really dedicating a lot of that time to this. And the individual I have today, and been checking out her stuff. Got a chance to see her at SpeakerCon 2019. Well, folks, if y'all haven't listened to the episode, you should. Make sure you're there in 2020. There's a review episode. I'll make sure I put that in the description. But I got to see her speak. Spoke a lot on brand. And again, for me, I'm the tech guy. So I feel like brand is art, right? So it's like foreign for me. So, some folks say like tech stuff is foreign for them. Well, branding is foreign for me. So anytime I get to speak to a branding expert, I'm glad to have them on and be able to pick their brand. And so today I have Tara Gates Anderson, the brand expert. I'm gonna bring her on, have her introduce herself. Go ahead, Tara. Just bring on and say hello to the Automation Nation.
Hello, Automation Nation, and thank you, Justin, for having me on. It's an honor to be on. I'm Tara Gates Anderson, brand expert and CEO of TGA Unified.
Excellent. Now, tell me a little bit about TGA Unified. I was on the website, so trying to pick through and see what was going on and see exactly what you do. Now, I was trying to get an idea, and correct me if I'm wrong, right? But I feel like when folks throw out this thing of brand is a big space. Like it's a very important term, right? But the term can be taken and construed in different ways. And so I really want to understand exactly what your business does when we talk about the word of brand.
So TGA Unified is a branding and media company. I work with businesses, individuals, entrepreneurs, corporations, professional athletes to develop and build their brand. So, and when we talk about branding is your reputation and visibility in your desired target market. And I want to dig deep because everybody always, they will come to me and say, Tara, I want you to help me build my brand. I need the website. I need a logo. That's aspects of your brand, right? That's the identifiers of your brand. It's visual branding. McDonald's has the golden arches. That's pretty much their logo now. You don't even need to see the word McDonald's. You know who that is. That's their brand icon, correct? But what people have to understand is what makes those visuals so recognizable, or those visuals spark some type of emotion in you, is the reputation and visibility of your brand. So that's what branding is, your reputation and visibility in your desired target market. Now, the thing that helps your reputation become what it needs to be and your visibility to grow is to really have a clear understanding of, in order to build a reputation, you have to provide and deliver an experience to your consumers, customers, clients, or whomever. So they then say, okay, this is what I've gotten from this particular brand. This is what they've elevated me to, or this is the relationship I have with the brand. I know when I go in the store, it's the only thing I'm going to get. When you're creating that builds your reputation. And the more your reputation gets built, the more people are talking about you. Then your visibility heightens because everybody's talking about you, sharing about you. Oh, okay, well, who is this brand? So I really want people to understand, brand isn't just like your logo, your website or anything. It's your reputation and visibility. And in order to do that, you then have to create such uh, um, an experience for your customers that they're talking about you in a positive way, which builds your reputation. Then the word spreads, then your visibility grows.
Okay,
So
excellent.
that's what my company does. in
Excellent.
short, in short, I'm sorry I had to go into that.
No.
To both your questions, but yeah.
And I think, if I were to break this down, and again, if I'm wrong, correct me, it's really about first creating an experience. The experience creates to creating a certain reputation, and that reputation then in turn leads to the visibility that I know everybody is dying to have. Is that about right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And it is steps to that, because a lot of times just because we have a good idea about something doesn't mean the world is going to love it. Right.
Right.
So you have
Right.
to be very clear in the brand that you're developing. And I always share with people, it's like it's steps to it. I try to break it down in like a 3-step process to really accomplish building your reputation and increasing your visibility. And I can share that throughout our conversation, but it's very, you have to be very, very clear about what it is you want to do. So I always tell people, establish your purpose first, because that's like the first step. Because like I said, Justin, just because, we think, oh, these potholders are going to sell because they're handmade by me.
Right.
That doesn't mean that the world is going to love it and you're going to, gain money off of it, or you're going to, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's you have to really think about establishing your purpose. When you have the idea for a business, you need to ask yourself, why did I build this business? Why did I want to start this business? And then you need to go into, okay, now that I understand why I started this business, why do I want to help out this specific group of people that my business is going to serve? Then you go into, now, why does it matter to me that these things get done? You have to really think about that. And I can use my company as an example. I've been in branding for over 10 years, but I've been in the sports. I launched my sports division earlier this year, but getting into the sports space the sports was new to me, but not branding. So I had to figure out, now, how do I become, deliver an effective service in the sports arena for branding? How do I brand my sports branding business, so to speak? So I had to really think about, why do I want to do this? Well, I wanted to start the sports division because a professional athlete had reached out to me about branding him. And then I had to really think, okay, is this an arena I want to enter into? Well, you know what? Absolutely. Because if you look at what happens to athletes in sports, their career can be 20 years, their career can be 2 years. Their brand can be tarnished throughout their career because, money and fame and notoriety can kind of overtake you sometimes. And if you're not surrounded by the right people, hey. So I said, okay, I want to do this. I want to launch this sports division to help out professional athletes or college athletes going into the professional arena so they can be prepared to deal with, what's to come. And so I got into, okay, that's why I built the business. It is a good expansion for me as well. Now, why do I want to help out the specific group of people? Because an athlete's career can stop at any minute. If you build a strong brand, you can capitalize on that while you're doing what you're doing. Then you could create this legacy if your career just stops tomorrow. Now, why does it matter to me that these things got done? It mattered to me because I read a book by Michael Hugh about a year ago. I listened to the audio book called Behind the Line of Scrimmage. And Michael Hugh was a big deal in sports, NFL, NFLPA, XFL League. He talked about in the book his relationship that he had with a football player that he was an agent for. Now, I'm not an agent, let's be clear. I just am a branding expert that brands professional athletes. But in his story, he talked about how he really fought for this young man, even when he continued to mess up. Even when he fought for him. He got him the contracts and the deals that he deserved because he was such a good player. He continued to make these decisions, but he served as this bridge to let the NFL know, look, hey, this young man is coming from a certain environment. He just can't acclimate to your environment right away. It's a process. So he helped he bridged that gap and helped people understand, okay, here's an athlete that may come from a particular background, but he still needs some grace because he's learning to find his way. And I just loved how he stuck with this young man as long as he could in his career. So when I really thought about this, I said, it matters to me that these things get done because I'm here to serve others. And God has given me a gift. So I want to use that to serve others, to help them create not only a legacy, not only, an experience for them as a professional athlete and their fans that follow them, but also a better quality of life for them. And it all starts with your brand. It doesn't start with marketing or PR, because you have to have a brand to market and a brand to promote.
Excellent. Hope y'all caught all of that. I mean,
If not,
there's a lot in there. There's a lot. Yeah, rewind it. That's the beauty of a podcast. Y'all can rewind that and take some notes. And I think it's kind of a relevant piece I really want to pick out there, at least from this. And it's kind of what I'm inferring, is that when you started this journey of branding, right? And it's not that you didn't have any success in some other area or having a different demographic, but you saw opportunity. Right. You saw an opportunity in the sports realm, and I have this too. And so I'll kind of reflect, but oftentimes what I see is, again, I speak to clients and folks get on the phone. It's like, yeah, I'm a career coach, or, I want to push my book, or, I just want to talk about mindset empowerment. And it's just so vague. And it's vague, and everybody's doing it. There's a couple problems that I see. I'm sure you've seen it as well. Is your solution is vague, right? So it's everybody doesn't really attract or really call or really speak to someone specific. Second, it's not clear about the reason why it solves the problem. And then third, and this is, I think, where it really kills us, is your pitch or your call to action or your brand is attracting people that don't have money. Right. And so when I'm looking at your shift into the sports realm, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm tallying it up in my head. It's like, well, okay, it took something that was generally vague and made it specific. And then it solves a specific problem that's real, right, for a certain set of people. So it speaks to them, it's specific to them. And then, I mean, let's be real, it's to a group that has money. They have more money than they have time. And so therefore their decision to work with someone is usually a lot simpler. I have this problem all the time because a lot of folks that reach out to me, it's just like, hey, I'm the automation guy, I'm the tech guy. And so usually people are either asking for A, tips, or B, they want instructions. But the real answer is they want tips in order for us to get into a conversation for me to do something for them, or it's B, they want me to do something for them. Yeah. And so a lot of these people, a lot of times when I'm just giving tips, though, it's only attracting people who don't really have the money. They have more time than they have money, but then they really don't want to commit the time or the money. And it's just and that's what I feel like most people run into, is you're attracting people who don't have the money. But what I like about what you're doing is, again, it's specific, it solves a real problem, and it's to people who can pay the invoice. Exactly. And so I guess if y'all to take that, and I'm gonna have Tara go back and share some 3 branding tidbits. But if y'all to take that, again, I would just go run with that. If y'all needed to do something for the day, I think it'd be to reconsider those 3 points. Like, if there's anything you do today, right, just consider those 3 points. Also want to touch on one other thing. And again, you kind of touched on it at the beginning. I wanted to circle back around to it, was this idea of experience, right? So it's this thing of the experience that you have for your customers, your clients, and also for yourself in your own business, right? So there's two sides of experience. And as the automation guy, if I'm talking to someone like you, and I try to figure out, okay, A, what's the experience for your client? What's also the experience for yourself? And so as you go out and you grow your business, I'm just wondering, how does a branding person, like, how do you operate, right? Because again, some folks out there, they need that front end help in terms of how to get a client, but they also need that help in terms of just how do they operate as a business. And so for me as an automation guy, my goal is to help folks operate better, help you save time, get tools, technology, and processes into your business so you do that. So, I mean, how right now, if you had to share, how right now do you automate within your business that saves yourself some time, so that way you can, fixate your time on doing what your clients need the most?
Mm-hmm. So, I get a lot of people reach out, right? And
Right.
I totally, I'm in agreement with you. Everybody's at a different point in their business, right? Everybody's at a different space. Everybody financially, growth wise and things, and they may not even have thought of automation yet. One thing I do when people reach out to me, I always give them a brand evaluation.
Okay.
I mean, let me take that back. I just send them a branding questionnaire, which
go.
is a form that's already created. I just copy the link, send them the link. I personalize it really quick. I have a way that allows me to personalize it very fast. And then I send it to them. So that does two things for me. It lets me know if they're serious and ready. And I only give them 2 days to fill the form out. Mm. So I always, if they reach out to me and say, hey, I'd like to talk to you about it, whatever. Okay, we set up a brand consultation, but you have to complete this branding questionnaire first. I shoot them the questionnaire via a link. That's my little automation, Justin. Okay. I'm not fancy.
Okay, no, that's fine. That is fine.
And I also have an intern assistant right now that does a lot of stuff for me. So, I shoot it out. I tell them you have 2 days to complete it. I send them the consultation fee because there is a fee for my time. So a lot of people that are doing things, you may not be making a lot of money in the beginning, but your time is valuable, right? Mm-hmm. You have to be very, how can I say? You have to be strategic with what you want to do for free and what you need to charge. Okay. And we understand if you're getting out there, you could do certain things for free, right? But I had a mentor tell me a long time ago, at some point, Tara, you have to be fresh out of free. And I had to really understand that. Like you're right. So after she told me that, after that, I then was like, if you want me to come speak, this is when I'm coming. If you want to do this with me, this is the fee. And I was unapologetic about it. It saved me a lot of time, but it also allowed me to help people who were serious about their business. And that's what the brand evaluation does. That's like my level of automation. Like that's what it allows me to do. I shoot it to you. If you're going to do that in 2 days and you're able to pay the fee, then we can talk business. I know you're serious. Okay. And then I have it, like I said, an assistant, but also people come to you because you're an expert. You can't, I never professed to be a sports branding expert, right? At the beginning when I first started. I'm a brand expert, but I never called my brand expert. So I got to say this too, Justin. I never called myself an expert until someone else called me an expert.
Excellent.
So I just said I was a branding, person, like I just branding and marketing person. I didn't have an expert behind my name. And I remember someone asked me to come speak. I said, well, let me know the topics you want me to cover for your audience. And she immediately said, no, you're the expert. I want you to talk about whatever you want to talk about because I've seen you speak. I heard what you can do. You're the expert. And it wasn't until then I called myself the expert. And you're not going to be seen as an expert unless you're producing. And as I said at SpeakerCon, if you're not producing results, you're passing time. Oh. So you have to be very deliberate in what you do. And it's all about action, right? So if people see and feel and experience and hear what you're doing to the point they consider you an expert, that's when you can embrace the expert title. And that's what I did. And I just took that expertise into the creating into the sports division because I realized I'm new to sports, but I'm not new to branding. So how can I enter this market to where people will see that I'm adding value? And that's where I researched and took a long time and developed the Rookie to Retirement program, which is a lifetime branding program for professional athletes. And I take them through that program to develop their brand. So that's my value add.
Okay. Excellent. There was a lot there, y'all.
I'm sorry. I'm long-winded.
No. And again, use that rewind button.
Yeah.
But let me break out a couple things, and I don't think people understand the power of little principles, little tidbits that people can take that even maybe you have brushed over, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I'm going to highlight a couple things because before we even got on this podcast, y'all,
Mm-hmm.
me and Tara were talking. And she asked me, "Hey, what does automation really mean?" And for me, it was anytime you can have a result occur, produce, make itself apparent in your life, in your business, without you being in the picture. You've accomplished it via automation. And so automation doesn't have to be a complicated thing. So, when she said, "Hey, I got," and she downplays it, right? Because she's like, "Oh yeah, I just got this form. I just go and click it, and that's it. And I'm not fancy." Let me stop there. She said, "Not fancy." I love that. Because many folks, they think automation is like, "Hey, I got to have like this." They see all these charts that people put up, and it's got a million different modules and arrows and lines going everywhere. So much that makes people dizzy. But at the end of the day, I've been a part of transactions on both sides where 4 or 5 figure transactions occur because somebody kept it simple, not fancy, right?
Mm-hmm.
They had maybe one tool in place, they had a procedure on how they were going to operate. They were able to close people, not just after the fact, after events, but also on site, right? Because they kept it simple.
Mm-hmm.
I have set up tools, again, for these same folks while driving. One tool, actually, they sent me a message. Hey, Justin, set this thing up. I'm in traffic. Set the thing up in traffic. Took me 5 minutes. Again, that very tool is a 4, 5, and 6 figure tool that is utilized to this day that they use on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So again, not complicated, keeping it simple. So sometimes y'all overcomplicate the process. That's the one thing. The second thing is you mentioned that she has an assistant. And many of you think that automation just involves you having a tool in place. One of the things I like to talk about is I started in operations, like when I graduated school and got a regular job. Right? I was in operations, and so one of the things in operations is you talk about procedures. So procedures seem very corporate. So whenever you become an entrepreneur, you want to punch procedures in the face. You try to run from them. You try to avoid them as much as possible. But at the end of the day, again, procedures is really a tool that allows other people to do the stuff that you don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe, you may not have a standard procedure for your assistant, but you have a standard way of interacting. He or she has an idea of what you need to have done, the way you need to get it done. And so there's still a standard way to do things. And it allows Tara, allows you listening to get things and do the things that you are supposed to be doing. Right? There's certain things you should not be doing in your business. So I just wanted to extract those things. I think, again, we take them for granted, especially if you've been in business for a while, you take those things for granted. One other last thing, and I really, for folks who want to make big money, some of y'all want the small, low ticket stuff. Some of y'all are trying to figure out how you can get to those transactions that have some commas on them. One thing that you can do, one little shift you can do, is create a filter, right? And so Tara essentially created a filter. And she didn't express it that way, but that's what it is. She says she has a form that she puts in place. That's one filter. And then again, she puts a price just on her time of consulting. What that does is you put in the form, and some folks who really don't need the help, right? They're just gonna, I don't feel like filling this out. So they're not gonna do it. And so they don't meet you. They don't waste your time. The second part is you put a time limit on it. So if they're serious, right, they will do it in those 2 days. Otherwise, they're going to tire kick and they're not really serious and say, well, I'll check with you in a week. But then a week passes and they don't get a chance to meet you. They're not serious, right? So again, it saves you time. I mean, when you actually get that person on the phone, and I know some folks that charge for the upfront consultation. And so, for instance, let's say I have a $10,000 program, I'll charge you for that first call. So that I may charge you $250 for that first call. And that means that if you're on the phone with me, you're already $250 in. I know you have money and I know you're serious, right? And so then, you don't just run off with their money, right? If they work with you, then you apply the money to the service. And if not, then, that was their $250 consultation and they got plenty of value out of it. It's a filter. right? So it saves you time and money, and that's exactly what automation is supposed to do. Now to transition real quick, so we got really two other big things I want to touch on here with this time with you, Tar, is again, one, I know all of us have our success, but all of us are trying to grow in some way, shape, or form. And so I'm just wondering, because again, all of us think that we're all perfect, and I think sometimes it's good to highlight the areas of growth that even us that are doing well are still working on. So that way, folks don't think that they're always listening and staring at Superman and Superwoman. Instead, they understand that we are more like Batman. We are mortals, but we also just find ways to be successful. So is there any area of your business that you wish you could move a little bit faster in, wish was going a little bit better, or that you could multiply some results in?
When I hear you say that, because see, I'm a big fan of God's timing. So I found in the past when I tried to rush or push something, it didn't work.
Okay.
I found in the past where, I was either, well, I'm a wait on this because it's going to do that. I may have missed an opportunity. So I always try to stay in this place of having a work ethic where I'm producing so much that all the other things, I'll be in position. So I'll already be in position for when the opportunities come. So, I can always look at other past businesses that I've had where I made mistakes and I failed, which are beautiful things. Failure is beautiful, everybody. Trust me. Where, okay, I look back and say, I should have did this. I should have did that. But had I wouldn't have learned the lessons I needed to know for where I am now. So I feel like everything that happens in life is beautifully designed to lead you to where you are now. The thing for me is that you have to have this work ethic that when opportunities come, you're already in position and you're able to produce right away. I also feel like, I could look and say, hey, yeah, I'd love for the sports division to have a total. My goal by this time next year, I was saying to myself, I want to have at least 5 to 10 players in the sports division, right? Sometimes it doesn't move as fast. What can I do different to garner those players? Well, I had to really stop and check myself. Yeah, I want those players, but can I truly handle the capacity of having them?
There we go.
Because the big thing is, if I get all of them right now and it's just me and I got one intern assistant, I'm not going to be able to produce for them. And what did I say before? If I'm not producing results, I'm passing time. And then that's not going to look good on my business. That's not going to allow me to really show the world what I'm capable of doing. So I don't want to operate out of order. So I said, okay, you know what? Now I need to build the team because I have this plan and I am getting calls and I'm getting these things. Build a team so when that does happen, you already got the program, you already have the structure, you already have the procedures in place. You just got to have the people to help you handle and manage all of it. So I think that's where I'm at. I don't see it as, I want this to be faster. I just want it to be, I want to be ready. And I had to realize that I had to kind of like loosen my grip because I'm one of those type A people that want to do everything. Because if I don't do it, it's not going to be done right.
Right.
So I had to really say, well, guess what? Not only am I driving myself crazy, but I'm not giving anybody that wants to work with or for me opportunities to learn from what I have to offer so they can grow and become better. Okay. So I then, had to really stop and say, okay, hey, if anything I had to say, Justin, I said, I'm building my team so I can be even more effective.
That's perfect. No, that's perfect. That's a perfect answer. I think people need that answer. Not everybody's there yet. Yeah. And so again, taking the tidbit of don't operate out of order is perfect. If you're not ready to bring on a team, you're not. Also, if you're not ready to pick up more clients, you're not.
Yeah.
I get it.
Because quantity means nothing.
Right.
If you're not delivering quality.
Right.
And, and this kind of like taps into the step 2, because at first I was like, if I had to give you 3 steps at the beginning of this conversation, establish your purpose. And that was just recapping and like, why did I build this business? Why do I want to help these people out? And why does it matter that I get these things done? The next thing is, once you've understood that, the step 2 in that is creating your differentiating factor. Like what sets you aside? So like earlier, Justin, when you were talking about all these people out here that are coaches and do these things, yeah, it's a ton of people out there. But what sets you apart from everyone else? What is going to make me come to do your program as opposed to this person's program and you guys are doing the same thing? It may be someone talking in my ear about how great you are, which is boosting your reputation. I may go to you because of that. But the only reason they're going to talk about you is because of what? You have a differentiating factor that stood out to them. You left them with an experience. And what people have to understand is that in order to deliver a very authentic experience to people, which is step 2, is creating a differentiating factor. In order to create that differentiating factor, you have to really understand the type of personality that your brand embodies. So, you know, you can Google this, brand personalities. When you get who you are, you'll get what you're worth. So you have to be very clear on what your brand's personality is. There are 5 brand personalities, and sincerity, excitement, competence, sophistication, and ruggedness. You have to understand which one your brand embodies, and you can embody more than one, but use that to then create that personality that's going to create that differentiating factor for you to deliver an experience people won't stop talking about.
Amazing. So, and we kind of snuck in the 3 steps, y'all. So we're gonna get to this. We still got one more. So we're kind of been sneaking them out. So first one really was establishing your purpose, your reason. Second, how to take it, differentiating. Now let's go ahead and get into the third one, because I want to know what the third one is just as much as y'all do. So go ahead and let us know if you had to get that third piece in there. What is it?
Once you know your why, once you know what makes you different, now it's time for you to level up, right? This is that whole visibility piece. When you get all of those first 2 things and the value that you bring, then you want to secure strategic partnerships. Make the right connections. Increase the connections that are strong already within the target market you're going after, and now demonstrate your capabilities. So I'm going to give you an example. I go back to my sports division when I was building this. Once I got the why together, then I differentiated through my rookie to retirement program. Now I'm going after strategic partnerships. So guess what? I'm going to make the right connections. I started reaching out to players that were going into the draft, players that had agents. Now I tell them who I am. I have a strong presence online and on social media. They see the value that I bring through what they're seeing on my website. Now, not only am I connecting with agents and players that are new to the game, see, because those players that are going into the draft and that are rookies, they need you more than OBJ. He already has a brand.
Right.
So they need you more. Now I got some ideas for OBJ to elevate it. I can help OBJ level up. I'm that cold, but I'm just saying that you go after that because I'm new to sports, but not new to branding, but I need it in. And anybody that I work with, when I was researching college players, I was looking at these players that were just going hard. I'm not just picking you just because you're a college football player. I'm going to go after the folks that want it so much that I can see it through their videos, through their pictures. They're not talking about it. They're being about it. So I went after those players, connected with their agents. Those agents, then you get the relationship with them. That's where I'm increasing that connection within that target market. They're introducing me to more agents. Then I'm going to the draft or the combine or the different big sports events that are happening. I'm going there and I'm networking and I'm being seen. Now, when I get the players, I'm able to demonstrate my capabilities. So I take the players through the program and then I start producing results and big things for them through the connections that I have too.
Excellent.
Yeah, so those are the 3 steps.
Excellent. I love it. So purpose, differentiation, and then leveling up.
Secure strategitic partnerships to level up.
Strategic partnerships to level up. Excellent. Yeah. And that makes, so I know I do this thing, it's called an automation engine, right? So essentially it's like 5 steps to it. Right? So, the first 4 steps are it's prospect, it's engage, then it's sell, then it's service. But then the last step really people don't often get to. And I call it ignite. And igniting is really what you're talking about. It's about having partnerships, about having people out there that can also speak on your behalf, create bigger and better connections, spread you beyond yourself. Where our arms only reach but so long, and it's not till we join hands with others that our reach can extend. And so I think that leveling up via partnerships really embodies that. So Tara has come on here, has given plenty of great information. How can I find out more about you, what you do, and how can they maybe get one of those brand evaluations?
Okay, so you connect with me on Instagram, and my Instagram is Tara, Tara Gates, Gates, Anderson, Anderson, Tara Gates Anderson on IG, Facebook. Twitter is _TGA. And then visit my website. It's taragatesanderson.com, or you can get to the business website, which is tgaunified.com, and check me out there. Shoot me a email, tga@taragatesanderson.com, or visit my website, and I will link it. I'll send you a brand evaluation if you wish. Also, on my business page, I do have a direct link for inquiries, where you can just fill out a form, and my assistant will follow up with you, and we'll get connected.
Excellent. I will put all of that great info in the description. So if y'all didn't get a chance to write it down, just go ahead and check out the description. You'll be able to access that. Tara, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate everybody listening today. You know what you need to do. Share this with a friend, family member, or even a foe, because those folks that get on your nerves need this information too. We appreciate you and all that you do. I'm Justin Morgan, the founder of AutomationMastery.net. We're here to help you automate your business, master your destiny, and maximize your impact. I will see you in the next episode. And until then, treat each day as a building block to a better future. Peace. Are you ready for an experience that doesn't just teach you about automation? It actually helps you go through the process and leave with everything set up. Check us out at the AMX Live Experience 2020 at automationmastery.net/AMX 2020. We're going to actually take you through on a 3-day event and teach you and have you implement and set up the 5 core pieces of an automated engine in order to finally have the automated business that you were meant to have. Again, join us over at www.automationmastery.net/AMX 2020. See you there. Grab one of the limited spots while they are available.